I hate unwaxed bowling lanes.
Welcome to Grumble Goat. My name is Matt Labodka, and this is a show about all the small things that drive me insane. Let's grumble.
Bowling lanes are supposed to be waxed regularly. When you watch the pros on TV and they have that beautiful arch that goes and leans right over the gutter right before turning around and going and smacking that head pin, that's a waxed bowling lane. That's how lubricated a bowling lane is supposed to be. The bowling ball is supposed to glide smoothly across that thing like ice. It's a frictionless surface like a figure skater, and then it's going for that triple deke and it finally finds that friction and cuts its skate in and boom, it twists back over. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's what it's supposed to feel like. But I go to these bowling lanes these days and they're not even waxed. You throw the ball with a beautiful arch on it and it goes right into the gutter. It's gripping that lane like sandpaper. It's like trying to bowl across an old worn out mattress. What happened to the days when we respected the game? I come from the Midwest, a respectable place that respects the sport of bowling. You can go to the cheapest, dirtiest dollar game bowling alley in the backwoods behind some suburb, and it will have the glossiest, shiniest lanes. It's like bowling on a mirror. But then you go to the trendy, expensive bowling alley in the city, and you might as well be bowling on concrete. It's ridiculous. You're just supposed to wax the lane. That's how you play the game. And I know a lot of people just throw the rock down the center of the lane, just straight as an arrow. They don't care. They just throw it right down the center like they're playing baseball or something. How can people play the game if you're not going to wax the lane? That's like trying to play pool, but all the balls are white. Every shot looks the same. How do you even know what you're aiming for? Where's the nuance? Where's the flair? You might as well have a bowling alley that just every ball only has 2 holes in it. Because why not? Because we're not even playing the game. Because if you're promising a service and you can't play the game, what am I paying for? People go to these bowling alleys because they want to be eclectic. They're like, oh, remember that rustic game from the 70s? Let's go pretend to play that. And so these trendy places don't need to offer real bowling. It's like trying to play Monopoly, but there's no houses. It's either a parking lot or it's a hotel. But how are you going to build up the money to get the hotels without the houses? You see, it doesn't work. You can't take away one of the most crucial aspects of the game and be like, oh, same thing, that's $40 a game. Now, is that going to be Charge or Apple Pay? I hate unwaxed bowling lanes, and that's the grumble.
Grumble, 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 grumble.
What?
Grumble, 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 grumble. What's got your goat?
For the latter half of the show, we'll bring in my better half, Veronique, for an unpretentious look and a segment we call
What's got your goat?
The studio feels a little empty today, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness, I feel like something's missing.
We've had so many guests lately.
We have.
Yeah. It's strange to be just the 2 of us again.
I know, it's just us.
I'm excited to be here with you.
Oh, I'm very excited to be here with you.
Okay, great.
Yes.
You look like you're excited. You're pumped up.
I am pumped up. I took a little nap earlier, took a walk in the park, and now we are ready.
Yeah, we took a walk in the park. You have your New York shirt on.
I'm from New York now.
Whatever city the t-shirt says is where you're from now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So you're from New York.
I feel like I've lived here long enough to have New York status.
You just told me that your upcoming birthday is going to be your 10-year celebration, even though it's been longer than that.
It's been just over 10 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you moved here when you were, what was it, 13?
No.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to talk.
Whatever. I'm not offended by my age.
Right.
I'm aging gracefully.
Right.
Thank you, meaningful beauty. It works wonders.
It's wonderful.
That and water. I should drink more water.
You look radiant. Wait, no, wait. What is it? What is
Thank you.
So what is that? Is that like moisturizer for your skin?
Well, it's a whole skincare line that Cindy Crawford has, and it's about this melon. They extract this fluid or something from this melon that doesn't decompose as fast as other fruit. So there's something in it that preserves your skin.
Remarkable.
Yes.
It's remarkable how much time and effort we're willing to put into making sure our skin is moist.
Oh, yes. I think that's very important.
And not necessarily other things in our life.
Right. Well, priorities.
Priorities.
Yeah,
Exactly.
priorities.
Yes.
You don't think it's a priority until you see the lines forming on your face.
Right.
And when you're young, I mean, my mother would always say, don't wrinkle your forehead. And I would think that was silly because I'm such an expressive person.
Yeah.
Especially, we're actors. And now I know what she means.
Right. I do it all the time too. But it's like, that's how you express half your emotions.
They say that you can say all that with your eyes.
Well, don't wrinkle your brow. Say it with your eyes without wrinkling your brow.
That's like a smize. See what I'm doing
Ooh,
here?
you are smoldering.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Now, sometimes there are other things that if you don't keep them moist, they show their wear and tear.
Like what?
I don't know.
Like sheets?
You know how I take mineral oil and I rub it into our wooden utensils and our cutting boards?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah, because wood requires a certain amount of attention as well.
It does because it's self-cleaning.
But you have to keep it moist because otherwise it just becomes...
Well, it dries out and it cracks.
yeah, it cracks.
Yeah.
For sure.
I know. Learned that
Yeah.
from you.
You said that you might be going to visit your brother soon.
Yes.
You remember we saw your brother recently?
Yeah, for the wedding.
Yeah, for the
Yeah,
wedding.
absolutely.
You remember the bachelor party?
What?
Well, we took your brother out and all
Oh.
the kids one night. I in my head I call that the bachelor party, but it was just us.
The bachelor portion
Yeah.
of the weekend.
Remember we
Yes.
took the kid, we put the kids in that little toy Honda thing, and then we drove them with the remote control.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah,
It's
like
almost
that.
like a Barbie car. Remember the Barbie cars that we were growing up with? But it's
Yeah.
like a Jeep. It's like this black Jeep, and these kids are fascinated by
They're
it.
exactly the right size to fit in it,
Yep.
and it's remote controlled. And so he just, instead of having a stroller,
Nope.
he just remote controls
Yeah.
the kids in that thing.
And those kids love being in there so much, they don't try to get out. They love just cruising down the street.
Where did we go? Where did we hang out that night?
We went to the bowling alley.
Oh, we went to the bowling alley. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have fun at the bowling alley?
Yeah, I enjoy bowling.
Yeah.
Sometimes it hurts my back a little bit, but it's okay. You just have to like pull in your tummy and just throw the rock in the pond.
It requires good form.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to know how to hold yourself.
Yes.
It's almost as if there's a skill to that sport.
Oh, I think there is a skill to that sport, but what helps is a waxed lane.
No, what do you mean by that?
I mean that when we went bowling before, I didn't even know that they waxed the lanes. I didn't even know what that was. And then you're very good at bowling. You're actually pretty good.
Well, thank you. That's very nice of you to say.
You're welcome.
Now, if you remember, at the bowling alley we were at,
Oh, yeah.
I was throwing those balls like a dream.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I was arcing those things beautifully.
Yes.
The kids were up on their feet watching how that ball arced.
Yes, yes. Mateo was pressing that button.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that did until it
Right,
moved.
yeah, he screwed up the game. That was the wrong button.
I said something. Well, the guy was watching everyone, and I was like, why is this dude like watching these kids? This is kind of weird. And then, oh, that's what that button does. I was like, whoops, okay, sorry.
Yes.
They're little babies. They just like to press buttons.
No, but you remember the last time we went bowling in New York City?
Yeah, we went for Danae's birthday.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
I was a really good bowler that day too, wasn't I?
No, you weren't good.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, you weren't good. I just feel like you're always so good at these things.
Yeah, but I lost.
But I don't think anyone really won the bowling game.
Well, there's literally a score.
Yeah, but do we really pay attention to the score?
Danae won.
Well, she should. It was her birthday. Yeah. See, that's why you didn't win.
You remember what I told you about the lane?
Yes, I do. You said, well, it was actually really funny because you didn't want to say it too loud because you're so polite. And so you're like, I don't think they wax these lanes. And I said, they put wax on the lane? And I was like, is that why my balls weren't going in? And you were like, maybe.
Well, skeptical.
But I noticed that it was veering to the right a little too much.
That's not the wax. That's your aim.
I don't
But
know.
wax might have helped alleviate that because what wax does is it creates a frictionless surface.
Yes.
So you can throw the ball with a little bit of an incorrect spin,
Well, I didn't mean to spin.
whereas there's no forgiveness on unwaxed lanes. It just goes whatever direction it had spin, it had English, it had whatever. It's just
English.
done.
What does English mean? Did it go Spanish? Maybe it went Australian. Who knows?
It means when you give an incidental arc to something.
Oh, okay.
So like if you hit the ball with a little too much of an incidental arc, you call it too much English.
What a weird word for that. I feel like it's like you're going to be like pompous or something. Like you thought that you were going to make the shot.
Oh, a little too much
A
English.
little too much English.
I'm afraid I put slightly too much English on that one.
Yeah, exactly. What does that mean?
At your brother's place in rural nowhere had pristine, beautifully waxed lanes. But then in New York City, when we've gone together to
At
that
the
one
same
place with
place.
the Chinese kittens that wave
Yeah, it's
a
in
little
Times
bit.
Square. It's in
Yeah,
Times Square.
we've been there.
Why I think the lanes were waxed in upstate New York, I feel like people have teams.
The leagues. You're talking about the league.
Leagues. A league of their own.
No, sure, but that's a baseball reference.
Well, it's just a league, so why can't it apply to bowling too?
I used to be in a league.
Oh, of course you were. Oh, that's why you feel this way.
I used to be in a league back in Chicago.
What was the name of your league?
It was late night bowling. It might have just been called late night bowling.
Can it be like fencing with the fellas?
But if you're gonna go pay to play a game, shouldn't you be able to play the game?
No, because we're going to Times Square. Now, Times Square is a special place.
It is a special.
There's so many lights. There is a razzle dazzle, but it's like a hangout. It's like a hangout and it's a kill time kind of place. I doubt they have leagues there.
They don't have leagues there because it's super expensive.
I didn't think it was that expensive.
Well, bowling is supposed to be like $3 a game.
Oh, well, yeah, whoops.
But how do they get away with charging more and providing less game?
Well, that's Times Square.
That is Times Square.
That's Midtown.
It's Broadway. It's all about the theatricality
It's the
of it.
theatricality of it. It's the razzle
the real
dazzle.
Yeah.
It's the show.
Give
it's
'em the
old razzle dazzle. Razzle dazzle.
What other places could get away with charging more money to not provide the full service?
San Francisco.
What?
San Francisco is one of the most expensive cities. I'm sure they have very expensive bowling over there.
Yeah, of course San Francisco has expensive bowling. All of San Francisco is hills. How do you even get a bowling alley
Oh my
there?
gosh, it's all downhill.
It's all kiddie bowling. You just sort of drop the ball and it just rolls by itself down the hill.
You have your dinosaur plastic, like, straight shot.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying.
Slide. It was
But
a slide.
Not everybody saw the dinosaur plastic slide that you're talking about. The kids get to push it up.
Push it down. It worked perfectly.
It didn't. It gave it too much English. They all went into the gutter.
Oh my gosh, the English again. The English.
Now they're trying to colonize the lanes too.
Wah! That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a good term, the English.
When you bowl,
Yeah.
how do you bowl?
I throw the rock in the pond.
You do.
Yes.
You do.
This-
It's a clumsy display.
Now, this is a thing that I learned in college because I went to acting school. It's called neutral mask, and you have to attempt to be neutral. And what you find...
So you don't invade Poland.
No. Yakshimash.
It's an attempt at neutrality.
Jisht.
All right.
Neutral mask. So what you find is that your body isn't neutral because we hold tensions and we hold all this emotion in our body, so we don't
I'm picturing
realize.
a lot of aggressive walking.
Well, one of the exercises that we had to do in front of everyone was throw the rock in the pond neutrally. So anytime I do an act like bowling or...
So what you're saying is that these bowling alley owners are trying to be neutral by pretending to not care about how you throw the rock down the pond.
That's right. When do you think that they realized they needed to wax the lanes? When do you think bowling was invented?
I feel like there was an age where like golf, bowling, and cricket were all invented at once. It was like hurling balls.
Rocks, you mean? They hurled rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
Hurling
maybe
rock.
when they stoned people.
Like, let's use a club to knock a rock really far. And I feel like all these things were like very like, what can we do with rocks?
Yeah, they stoned people. That's what it was. They literally threw up a rock and hit it with a piece of wood and it stoned someone. And that invented baseball.
So you think the original game of bowling was they lined 10 sinners up in that triangle formation?
Yeah.
And then they like shoved a boulder toward the 10 sinners,
Yeah.
hoping to stone 10 at once?
That's right. And that's how they built the pyramid.
It was a 10-pin game.
Stonehenge, bowling.
For
It
sure.
was actually just a bowling game.
No, that was basically croquet. That was like lawn croquet for giant.
That was lawn croquet. That was absolutely lawn croquet with giant boulders.
Giant
Now, what did they make their ball out of? Like the Aztecs, they played soccer. You know, what did they make their ball out
I
of?
think the Aztecs used skulls.
Oh my gosh, that's how they played croquet. They definitely had skulls.
No, I think the Aztecs had a ball that was like made out of rubber.
Yeah, I don't think they used skulls. I think they did use a ball.
Yeah.
How do you think they found that out? What do you think they did to find rubber?
I don't know. I don't know how they figured out chocolate.
Cocoa.
Right. Because the Aztecs used cocoa as currency.
Cocoa? Really?
Yeah.
They were like, we can eat this and ew, I don't think I would want to eat cocoa that had been in a lot of hands and it would melt. How do they make it not melt? It's very hot down there sometimes.
No, I'm not talking about milk chocolate.
Oh.
These aren't Hershey bars.
Oh, they're talking about beans? Like cocoa
Yeah,
beans?
cocoa beans.
Cocoa beans. Oh, because you can count them.
Cocoa beans.
Do you think they waxed their lanes? Yeah, I'm sure they came up with games there.
A lot of skull throwing.
Oh my gosh, no, I don't even want to think about that. but maybe.
One skull for one cocoa bean, or 5 skulls for 3 cocoa beans. Step right up, folks. Throw a dart into a human eyeball. Just 3 cocoa beans.
No, we don't know what they did.
You said you like to play darts.
Yeah.
What if you went to play darts? What if you were at the bar, you got yourself a beer, you went up to the dartboard, and
The cork is taken away?
they didn't have a cork at all.
Oh,
they
my
just
gosh.
painted on a cement wall.
Well, I'd be a little
Cork.
upset because then my darts wouldn't go in the wall.
Oh, interesting.
Like the wax lanes.
What else do we wax in this world?
Ourselves.
We also wax philosophic.
What's that mean?
It, wax philosophic is kind of what Grumble Goat is all about.
Bringing out the absurdity of life.
Yeah.
Oh, I nailed that one.
Yeah.
Oh, can we say you've been waxed?
You just got waxed.
You just got waxed after we lead people in a long-winded conversation with no point.
This podcast was almost called Wax Philosophic.
No, it wasn't.
A lot of what I like to do with the episodes is I like to throw it down the lane with a clear intention of a grumble. And then it takes a wide curve to the right. And it looks like it's going to fall in the gutter. But then just at the last moment, it curves back and heads straight for that head pin.
Full house.
Royal flush.
A royal flush. Don't be a joker.
That's right. This is a very serious podcast.
We are so serious.
Or did you just get waxed?
This has been an episode of Grumble Goat.
Thanks for listening.
I'm Mat Veronique.
I'm Veronique Hurley. Please subscribe.
I hate when people say please subscribe.
Grumble, grumble, grumble. You don't think it's a priority until you see the lines forming on your face.